Hey everybody, it's Rob back. This time we're going to do a hack the box walkthrough. And the machine we're going to be attempting today is a machine called CAP. It is one of their retired free machines. It is a Linux box rated as easy. And honestly, it was fairly easy. I mean, it took me a little while, but got through it no problems. So without further ado, you can see I am connected to Hack the Box's VPN. And I have CAP spun up, and you could see the IP address right here. So as we always do, the first thing we did was we ran an nmap scan. And there's a couple of things that came back. FTP, SSH22, always never well, at least it's never the attack vector most of the time. And then 80, we have this Gunicorn security dashboard, HTTP. So I did try to log into the FTP site anonymously. That's a no-go. And there's no VSFTPD vulnerabilities that I know of for 303. There is a backdoor for 234, but not for 303. So that really kind of limited what we could do with this machine. So I immediately just went to the website. So went to the IP address on 80, and this Gunicorn or whatever it is security dashboard came up. And we're logged in as Nathan. I don't know how. It just took us there automatically. So I obviously notated that name down because I figured maybe we could try to maybe later on brute force the FTP or the SSH using Nathan. So I poked around in here and it's pretty cool. If you click on these tabs, it gives you the network status. I looked through all of these listening ports and everything. There wasn't anything crazy that I saw. You can click on IP config and it gives you the IP of the machine. The dashboard is the screen that we started on. The interesting part of this is this security snapshot, 5-second PCAP plus analysis. So if you click on this, it takes a second, but you'll notice that there's not a whole lot there, right? But I did notice that the number up here was 1. So I said, well, let me try 2, and that came back with nothing. And I said, well, let me go in the other direction. Let me go to 0. And lo and behold, it came back with information. So apparently we can download this. So we click download, and it downloads a packet capture. So if we open the packet capture, it opens it up in Wireshark. And, I was just basically poking around in here looking at the traffic, and then I saw user Nathan, password, there's the password right there in plain text. So if we click on that, I think, yeah, we can copy. We're going to copy the value, and that should give us the password. So the password is this buck3th4 form 3 exclamation point. So what do you think we're going to do with that? Well, we're going to close this. Like I said, I'm just going to copy this password so it's easy. We're going to close this, and we're going to open up a terminal. And actually what I'm going to do is we're going to do SSH Nathan, and the IP address is 224.118. And we hit enter. We say yes. And then we try to enter that password. So I'm going to paste it from the clipboard. And boom, we're in. So Obviously, they dumped this. We're in the user account, so there's two flags for this machine. So we'll just do an ls. There's the user flag, so we'll just cat user.txt. And I apologize, there's some delay with the keyboard, and the machine's a little slow. So there's the user flag. So we did some of our normal things, which are simple things like, let's see if we can find files with the suid set. So we're going to paste, and for those of you who haven't done this before, what we're doing is we're doing a find starting in the root directory for a type file where the permissions are 4000. 4000, this 4 means that the S is in the permissions for the set UID, which means that file will run with the permissions of the user. Typically, it's used for files that are owned by root so that users can execute certain things with elevated privileges. So when files are set incorrectly with the suid, you can have problems because there's a whole bunch of information out and about on the internet where you can abuse these binaries with the suid set. And then all of this piping, we're just piping all the errors and the things that aren't what we're asking for to dev null, so it cleans up the output. Okay, so I'm going to hit enter on that. And it takes a minute. And right off the bat, I don't see anything right there. Yeah, there's really nothing. If you've done this a bunch of times, you'll recognize, none of the snap stuff is going to be useful. And then the user lib stuff and all of the user bin stuff, those are all typical, right? So we can do other things like cat etc cron tab, see what's running in the cron tab. Nothing crazy. We can do sudo -l, and then we can paste in Nathan's password. Oh, I must have copied something else, so let me just get his password real quick. Let's try pasting that again. Paste clipboard. Sorry, user Nathan may not run sudo on cap. If we do history, there's just the commands that I typed. I tried to do cd root, permission denied. I looked around, there really wasn't a whole lot. So we're still in our directory here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run linps. So I'm going to go cd tools, because this is where I have linps stored, and then cd linps, and then I'm going to start a Python web server. Okay. Do I have something running already? Oh, I spelled HTTP wrong. I bet all of you saw me do that and are going, idiot. All right, so there's my HTTP server. So now I'm going to go back to the machine that we exploited, and I'm going to do wget HTTP, and the IP address is 10. This is our IP address, and this is the HTTP server I'm running on my attack machine, and we always make sure we include that port too. And then we're going to download the linps.shell script. We're going to hit enter. There it is. We do an ls. Okay, so now we have linps.shell there. The first thing we have to do is chmod +x linps.shell. That makes it executable. And then we can do linps.shell. We can run the script. And the good thing about linps is when it works, man, it really works. You're going to see there is something that just blinky lights, flashing yellow. This is a problem. Okay, and it's not that. That's on almost every machine, but that vulnerability has to have very specific packages installed, which are almost never installed. This would be a little hard to find without linps, but it could be done if you ran the right search. You'd have to have the right search criteria to find this. And it just flew by on the screen. So we're gonna scroll up because this is it right here. Files with capabilities. So it's similar to the SUID, but it's a little different. It's basically called capabilities, and it gives elevated permissions to folks as well. So if you look, user bin Python has the capability set UID set. Okay, this is always juicy. Anytime you see any kind of programming binary that has this set, or even the SUID set, that's almost 100% of the time the way that you're going to privilege escalate. Okay. So the way that I would exploit this is I would go to a website called gtfobins, and you just type Python in there, and you can see they have all these functions available, right? And one of them is capabilities. So what we're going to use to exploit this is right here. Now we do have to modify it slightly, okay? So basically, if you remember, this binary is Python 3.8 and it's user bin. So what we're going to do is when we run this, we're going to run user bin Python 3.8, and that you could probably just leave this shell, but because there's usually a symlink that points to bash. I usually change it to bash. I think I'll leave it. But what I'm going to do is I copied this and I edited it. And what I'll do is I'll show you what the edited command looks like, so you know exactly what's happening here. So I'm just going to come back over here, and we're at the command line, and I'm going to copy the command that I took from there, the capabilities command, and paste it here. So you can see if we go back to the website, and you got to make sure you use this one, not the SUID one. The SUID one's not going to work. Okay, it's got to be this capabilities one. gtfobins, if you've never heard of that website and you're doing any of this kind of stuff, you need to make sure it's bookmarked. That's how often I use it, because that's how often these CTF machines have things similar to this that can be abused. And also, there's a lot of production machines out there. I've been guilty of this too as well before I knew all this, where you need something to run, and you put the SUID on it or whatever so that it runs with elevated privileges, and you don't realize that you just opened your system up, with a vulnerability that can be exploited. So just be very careful of any of that stuff where, anything where you can run sudo with no password, capability, SUID, you got to be super careful with that stuff. So if we go back here, you can see I just modified it so it's using the Python 3.8 binary. And then we're just going to run it like this, okay? So when we hit enter, we immediately get a root shell. So I can just do bin bash I root at cap. We do an ls. We are the root user. What I can do now is I can go cd root, and I could do an ls, and then I can cat root.txt, and there's the root flag. So overall, this was a pretty easy machine for me, at least. This kind of stuff is all in my wheelhouse. I'm pretty good with Linux and all of that stuff. And, where I struggle is when you have these web applications with all of these complicated ways of exploiting them and SQL. This is a machine that I was very comfortable with, and I got through pretty quickly. So that's how we did it. Hopefully you found this walkthrough useful and you learned something and it was helpful. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. I will make sure I have a link to gtfobins in the description below, and I will talk to you guys and see you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.